Alright, in this tutorial we're going to cover destructible crates, 2D side-scrolling, sword attacks, and collectibles. So let's get into it. So, to start we're going to grab a blank sliding puppet here. It's the one that Media Molecule made. We're going to drop it right in the middle here. And we're going to turn on precise move. So make sure that's on. So if we hit play here, we're just going to disable this guy. And disable this. Don't worry about those. If we hit play here, just possess our guy, and we're not 2D. So to make it 2D character, we're going to scope into him, and we're going to hit this button here, 2D movement. So for now, if we've hit play, we're only moving on this axis here. So that's what we want. So let's delete this. Actually, let's make some smaller platforms here. Sort of shrinking the chunk that they give you here. Let's go in here, edit it, stretch it out a little bit. Stretch it down. I'm just going to use these as blocks. I'm just copying it by L1 and R2 to move, and just moving it and letting go. So now that we have a tiny level here, we can play again, possess in, jump around, and it seems to work from there. So what we're gonna do after that is, every time we hit play, we can't just start moving. We have to possess him, and we don't want that for our game. So what I'm gonna do here is, first I'm gonna rotate him 90 degrees here, so he's always facing the right way. So reposition him a bit, and open up this logic here. Open up the controller logic, and go into the controller sensor. And under this is like the possession settings. We're gonna go make sure it's possessible. We're gonna hit this button. Sorry, this one, force possession. So once this is on, once we hit play here, boom, we're already in the game. So make sure you have that on. Now we're gonna do the crates first. Sword attack, let's say. So let's say you have a crate here, just a normal crate. Maybe let's get it off the actual thing here. Let's go crate. Let's say this one. Let's say this one. So we're going to want to clean this up. So we're going to want to go to Show Hide, click X-Ray, and click Preview Visibility. So now we can see any gadgets or anything on this thing. I don't see anything right now, so that's perfect. If you see anything, you can delete it. I also want to scope into this and make sure that it doesn't have any tags on it, and it's not set to move. This should be not set. It should be collidable though. So we're just going to move that down here, and if we hit play, we can jump around on it, but we can't destroy it or anything. So let's slap a microchip on there. I'm just holding L1 to hover over the crate and click. We're going to name this crate. We're going to open that up. Now we want this to be destroyed. So we need a health manager so it has health, and we need a destroyer. So when it has no health, it will be destroyed. And we're gonna set its health to 25 here. So make sure it's max and current health are 25. We're gonna set the cooldown to 0.3. And now we need something to break the crates. So our guy needs a weapon or a sword or something. So let's go find that. I use this one, so let's use this one again. Scale it down with the D-pad. That's about right. We're gonna rotate it, and we're gonna hold R2 and hit triangle to realign. We're going to scope into our hand, hovering over it and holding L1 and X until we get into the hand, and that's the only thing that's not, or that the only thing that's colored. We're gonna position it properly, and now we're gonna hit L1 and circle to scope all the way out. Actually, we're gonna scope back in. We're gonna make sure that this thing is not collidable. So go into this thing of the group and make sure it doesn't collide with anything. So, you know, if we do run through the crate, the sword is not getting hung up on that. So that's perfect. Now we want to be able to attack. So we're going to have to make an animation for that. So let's do one really quickly. We're just going to go into the controller logic of this puppet here. We're going to grab a selector. And basically, a selector only powers on A or B or C or whatever. We're just going to use A and B. So only one state can be on. And we're going to use this because this is kind of going to be our state machine for our player. So we're going to name this player state. Boom. All right. So we're going to grab a node and we're going to change it to a no port node. Just for clarity, this is going to be idle. We're going to name this idle. We're going to hold L1, R2, copy. We're going to name this attack. Okay, so now we have idle and we have attack. So our guy starts at A, so he's always idle. So how do we attack? Well, we can get him to attack by pushing a button. Grab another node here and call this square. Okay. So we're going to drag square in our controller sensor to this square node. So when we hit square, this will power on and change us into the attack state. So what do we want to happen in the attack state? So you'll no longer be idle, you'll be attacking. So what do we want there? We want the attack animation. So we're going to go into animate timeline. We're going to call this sword swing. Okay. We want the sword swing to be once. And we also want it to, we want it to be set to once. And we want to plug this node into here. So we want to say, basically, when you push square, change from idle to attack and power on this animation. Now we want to go on the end trigger, go back to idle. So we're saying, when this animation's done, go back to idle. Alright, so we need a little animation for me to demonstrate this. So let's grab some keyframes, put one at the beginning, put one at the end. Okay. Move the end so that it's kind of, we can also hold L1 and D-pad left and right to zoom in, because this will be about 1 second long. And we're just going to cap it off there. We're going to hold L1 and X. And now we're going to put 2 keyframes here. Make them big. One is like while we're the wind up. So we're going to go into this first keyframe, set him so that he's sort of winding up. He's about to attack. He's about to swing. He's winding back. Maybe his sort of hips are going here. He's like, this leg is back. Really quickly, you can always refine this later. This arm's like preparing to swing. And his head is looking forward. And then let's copy this. Fill these in. And this one is when he's actually swinging. So this one is when he swings forward. And he's done his swing there. So let's move maybe his foot goes ahead here a little bit. This one's back and he's still looking forward. Alright. Maybe straighten this arm out here. So let's play this and see what it looks like here. That's perfect. Alright, that's our animation. So let's play that. Push X, or sorry, push square. Does this little weird, so it kind of doesn't look like we want it to, right? Because when you play it in this one, it looks a lot better. And that's because we need to turn off procedural animations. So inside here, he has procedural animations always going. So this is like his walk animation, his jump animation, and procedural animation in general. Like the stuff we set up here where they're walking skatey, or they're leaning into their walk, that kind of stuff. We want to disable that while we're actually doing our own animation. So we're going to drag out a full keyframe here. We're going to name it No Procedural Animation. And we're going to go into there. It's in the gear here. We're just going to close all these off. Alright, so now when we play this and swing, that looks a lot better. Looks a lot more like our animation. But we could still move during this, which is really weird, and our guy kind of slides around. So we want to not be able to move. So let's just make another keyframe here. And let's call this No Move. So we want to not be able to move, so not be able to use the left stick, and also we don't want to be able to attack while we're attacking. So how do we do that? Well, let's drag out another node, call this let's call this L stick. And we have to put this in between, so we have our L stick is controlling our walking. So let's put this in through a node. So now, basically, we'll make a button called Control. And while this control is on, the square node and this walking node will be on. So if we turn this off, these won't go through. You won't be able to walk. The left stick won't control the walking. and we won't be able to push the square button to trigger an attack. So once the control is on, we are able to. So we can control this during this attack animation. So no move, we can turn this off. So now if we hit play, we're not able to move or attack. If we spam the attack button, we are not able to trigger it again, which is what we want. So it's looking a bit weak, so I'm just gonna take some time to buff it up. Maybe you could do the same. Maybe change the playback speed so it's a bit faster. And I'll be right back. Okay, actually you need this sliding behavior deleted, level complete deleted, and follow behavior deleted on the sliding puppet here. Once those are deleted, it'll look a lot better. Maybe without being sped up here. Okay, that's good enough. That's gonna have to be good enough. Maybe if we change the last keyframe, it's like forward a bit. This will probably do it. Yeah. Okay, that's not the worst. So you'll notice this sword swing doesn't break the crate. That's because the crate has health, but we're not doing any damage. So we need a health modifier. So we need it to be, well, we want it to happen to be powered on exactly when we swing. So if we click up here with X and go around to where we sort of attack, we want it to start around about there. So let's move this and end there. So now that is the time where we want it to be active. And the hitbox we want is a zone. That's a box. Let's just make it smaller here. Let's say it's around here. We want to be generous with the hitbox. Let's say that's good. So if I swing, I hit myself, and that's bad. So we want it, well, first of all, we want it to be 25, minus 25 damage. We want it to just target foes. So now that it just targets foes, not players, I'm not damaged, because if we go into my tags here, I'm a friend. So this crate has to be a foe so that the health modifier can affect him. So this little area, if the box is in this area, deal 25 damage. So now when we hit play, when we swing, boom, crate's damaged. Alright, so now let's add some hit effects. So if we search for some, let's grab this force field effect, shrink it down a bit. Let's place it off to the side, and we want to emit that. So let's grab an emitter, and the crate is going to emit it. So let's drag it onto the crate microchip, and we're going to say when you hit no health, make the hit effect, and then go here. Once it's emitted, die. Destroy yourself. So, well, let's change the emit speed to 0. Just do this once. this doesn't matter. Emitted object lifetime, let's say, I don't know, 2 seconds. Max emitted at once, it's just 1. And now we want to grab the thing we want to emit. So object to emit, this one. And now you'll see it kind of just comes in here. So let's move this close to where the box would break. And let's see what that looks like. Boom. Okay. So if we wanted to add some sound, let's do that in the next tutorial. So I'll leave it at that, and I'll continue in the next tutorial. Thanks for watching, guys. Look forward to more.